What's going on, gamers? So I've been getting a lot of comments lately and also other stuff, on Twitter and everything else about saying that there's been some people that misrepresented the Nate the Hate post and they only showed one angle and I need to go back and take a look at it and I'm spreading lies. I'm like, what would I lie for? So here I am. Let's take a look at something up to date, whatever it is, and let's keep going here. All right, we ready to get into this? Pony, sit down. All right. NateTheHate says, I absolutely never said anything about Stellar Blade or Days Gone coming to Xbox. This is a recent thing that he said to this one person right here who basically asked him a certain question. There's a lot of things to get in here so we can highlight this. It's also like the others talking for the sake of talking because if I remember correctly, some time ago, he said that Final Fantasy VII Remake, Days Gone, and Stellar Blade would come to Xbox. I don't remember him saying that. He did say everything else, though. All right, so let's get down to the nitty gritty, go. The guy from YouTube channel Switchforce claims another direct is coming this week, right? He didn't say anything about that. Okay, let's keep going. Hi, Nate. Do you have okay? Have you got anything to share on Insomniac Venom game? It is still in development. Did it get canceled? It's going to be announced this year or next year, right? Just so we're clear, it didn't get canceled. Last you heard about it, right? He says I haven't heard of a cancellation, but it's not a project I check on frequently. Hi, Nate. First of all, I want to thank you for your effort. And he talks about Nintendo stuff and stuff for Valve. Don't know anything about that. And then let's keep going. This is where it gets interesting with Detective Seeds. Are we ready? If you are going to post what Nate the Hate or others say, at least give the guy the courtesy of posting both of his comments so he is covered. And this is where things get interesting. Hoot. Thoughts about the current rumors for Sony porting more games to more platforms? Any information on which Sony games will come to Xbox next? I can't imagine it'll be anything beyond live service games like we're seeing with Helldivers 2 and Marathon. I never saw this post. Sony seems content with licensing unused IP, pat upon everybody's golf to publishers otherwise. We already knew about that though. That's already out, you know what I mean? Or it can be pre-ordered or whatever. I saw that on the eShop, if I'm not mistaken, recently. Okay, so he says I can't imagine it'll be anything beyond live service. Interesting. So it was deceptive if somebody only showed the other one. Whoever did that's an idiot. So he's saying that it's not beyond live service. But let's keep reading though. This gets very interesting because I'm going to get into this in a second. Thoughts? What you believe will happen? You stand in your opinion that it could be only live service games. My opinion remains live service and smaller games. But we'll see what Sony has planned. I'm not expecting anything in the immediate future. Okay. So he's saying not just live service, but smaller games. All right. Here's my take on this. Now things get a little bit interesting, but I still have some things to say. Um, I don't understand why they would hire to pay somebody a quarter million to 300 something thousand only for live service only. That I already knew. What I told people, what I thought is that I don't know what game they're going to select. I didn't say Spider-Man. I didn't say God of War. I didn't say anything. But what I do know is it's only what I do know is it's not only going to be live service. And I heard people talk about Lego Horizon. I was like, yeah, I heard that, but it already went out. And we know Fair Game's going to be included, though it hasn't been announced, like no release date or anything. Gummy Bears or whatever, some Bungie game, but I don't think that's coming out for a while. Um, Marathon, and whatever else Sony has down the line. I wasn't thinking of no single player games. Trust me, I never said that. I said PC. Now, what I thought was possible is for them to test the platform with probably an American game like Spider-Man. That could be possible or whatever. But did I say that that was going to happen? No, you'll never find me say that anywhere. I didn't say any games, honestly. I don't know what games they're going to select. But what I do know is what I've been telling people is out of year mid-range. It's what Sony considers not live service. And it's not going to be anything that's a part of their flagpole, 10 pole IPs that just recently came out. It doesn't make sense. It's not out of year and it's not mid-range. Those are $70 games. So it doesn't make sense to put a $70 game in the process of a mid-range, of a mid-title, you know what I mean? Or something that's out of year. It's going to be something old or something that Sony considers mid-range. That's why I was saying we got to figure out what the hell that means. And I was like, it could either mean mid-range priced IPs, but they say that live service is premium. So that's out the window for me. It's something else. So it's mid games. So smaller, mid range games, yeah, it's still something other than live service, which is what I've been pushing this whole time. I never once said it was going to be no AAA game because that to me is not a mid range or out of year. Unless Sony says that this game is now selling at $40 now, we consider it PS4 Spider-Man mid-range now. That's why I say when it comes to that little thing, it's kind of like discrete, but we can deduct it a bit and at least narrow it down to that. That's my analogy on it. Whether it does, and if none of this happens, it does not affect me personally because I have a PlayStation and I've already experienced all that, or most people are on PC. That's why I say it's a niche thing, anyways, or a niche thing, anyways. Um, and if I was wrong about what I said, then I was, and I took the lick, coming in and like I said, backing up the Xbox community. But I'm not really worried about that because I can defend myself if that's the case. I ain't worried about somebody coming and defending me. I've already saw the results of other stuff I want to support outside of that. Like I said, I can see how somebody's hypocritical and only want to support what they're interested in. And if you're doing it, but if you want to support someone else, they won't support you, but you can support their world. Yeah. No, do I respect people like that? No, I don't. But I'm still going to do what I'm going to be doing, regardless. And I'm a man of my word on what I say I'm going to do. But let's continue though. Most people suck anyways. That's just life. Another opinion I have, NateTheHate 2. I don't know if you thought about this. Sony is publishing Stellar Blade even on PC. Wouldn't it be weird they published that on Xbox as well? Maybe even 505 isn't that publisher of Death Stranding 2, and it's Sony. And they could be the publisher on PC and Xbox. That doesn't matter because Sony's not publishing Death Stranding. Kojima took the rights, so that's a non-PlayStation title. So that would include other games not related to Death Stranding 2, which is going to come to PC, going to come to Switch 2 and Xbox and all that, just like Death Stranding 1 did, Director's Cut. They already have a Death Stranding Switch version in the works, I'm telling you. It's happening. They want as much sales as possible because it's not going to get the sales that it needs on PlayStation only. It's not that type of IP. Even though Kojima is a great developer, but it has kind of like a niche audience, an acquired taste. So it needs to expand out more in general. Death Stranding 2 will likely remain on 505 for non-PlayStation releases. Yeah, of course. So Red Dead Redemption 2, Switch 2. Oh yeah, that's coming later on this year. We already know that's going to happen. They'll announce it for everything. Okay, so well, yeah, everyone for a fact no, some Sony games are going to Xbox. Marathon, MLB 2026, maybe other live services, Gummy Bears, Fair Games, Horizon Online, who knows? So I'm saying there's a lot of those games that they could be having people work on that along with some other IPs that they want to add in and test the platform with. That's what I always thought. So I'm not going to jump the gun and say, oh, it's going to be God of War Ragnarok. I don't think Sony's going to do that. I even said that. I don't think so, no. What I think they're going to do is test the waters first. That's why I said before we jump even way to that, let's see what happens with Helldivers. That's the perfect test. If you guys don't hit 1 million, I don't know what to say. Then yeah, that's on y'all. I'm obviously not talking about games that have already been announced or released on that platform, referring to Marathon and MLB, though this isn't published by Sony. That's what I was trying to tell people. They said PlayStation Studios. So it has to be what's published by PlayStation. Always remember that. So yeah, he's right though. What people want to know is if it's single player. Hey man, look. All I'm saying is that when it comes to that, so I tell people wait and be patient. It's gonna be hard to come criticize me because I've never said that. See, I cover my tracks pretty good. Um, and like I said, 250,000 to 300 some thousand is not just for a few games. It's going to be for a lot of games. And if it's a lot of live service games, okay, I think that's a thing. You know what I mean? But it has to be other smaller titles. Like I said, mid-range out of year. Always remember that so that we can get to that subject. So I did ever see no premium in there. So if anybody wants to say premium, that's because they're most likely on the Xbox side and they don't have that game and they've never experienced it and they want it that bad. Just be their subconscious doing that and they want it. They're fantasizing about it. That's what people do. And people who were pushing that are also in the PC world against Sony at the moment. You can always see things, you know what I mean? It's pretty obvious because it's like that type of stuff is just always clear to me. I'm not some anti-PlayStation guy, but I don't respect Sony and I don't like some of their methods. But I'll still have the platform because, like I said, You can support something and criticize it. I think that's the thing. That's what people do in relationships with each other. Everything, you know what I mean? But they're supporting each other. So don't let somebody tell you you can't support something and criticize it, or vice versa. You're criticizing something, so why do you have it? It's like, what do you mean? Am I supposed to be some fanboy to have the console? They can't say anything? Yeah, stupid mentality. All that stuff. So this guy's saying now, are they suspecting him being a fanboy and an Xbox hater? No, he just gave you exactly what he thought. Stupid mentality. Sorry, no, man. Um, this is what he said. I've been very vocal about my dislike with the recent God of War games. He was, and I thought GOT was fine, but not amazing. Ghost of Yote, by the way. I'll play Yote or Ghost of Tsushima. Sorry, I'll play Yote later this year. I'm excited for both too. Not both, but Yote because I got the platinum on Tsushima. I freaking loved it. I'll get the platinum on that too later this year. But it isn't a game I'm eagerly anticipating either. So here's my thing too. Just because somebody is telling you the truth about a platform that you are fanboying about, which is pretty obvious with your logo, does not mean that they are a fanboy or an Xbox hater. They're just telling you the truth. It's just ridiculous to think that. He's just sitting over here telling people things. So that's what he thinks. And like I said, that's a reasonable deduction, thinking about Sony, right? Because this could be overblown out of proportion. That's just a possibility. I'm not denying that. But it is fun, and it was fun to farm. So that's my thing about this. And like, there's some people thinking that this guy could be, a Sony pony. And I was like, I'm open to hear why you think that. I'll listen to what they say. So okay, now let's find out and let's see, right? I'm not going to just go to him childishly and say because they said this, and that. It's like, no, 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 no. I have a mind of my own. I'm not going to listen to people like that. That's not the way I work with anybody. Nobody finna convince me and manipulate me and control me. People get mad because they can't do that, of course. But that's a them problem. That's not a you problem. Just stand in the truth and you'll be fine and do what you do. So, continuing down, others have mentioned Halo coming to PlayStation 5, but it's also reportedly coming to the Switch too. He said I heard no update. Is that still accurate from the last you heard, or has anything changed? Once again, when it comes to that type of stuff, we'll see. I think it's highly possible though with Microsoft because we just know that what they want to do and what they have to do. That makes sense. Now, when it comes with Sony, remember it's always this hybrid mutable aspect. So we're gonna have to wait and see. But at the end of the day, if all the games come, why the hell do I care? It ain't gonna bother me. And if they don't come, it ain't gonna bother me. So let me know what you guys think of this. All right, peace out. Have a great day. We got our answers here. NateTheHate, once again, now that we have the full picture, never said it like that. Whoever cropped it like that, yeah, I mean, stop being an insecure fanboy. Later, y'all. Peace out. You know how I am with misinformation and CNN stuff. And here, look at this only. Like you do, like you're the news. It's like these people are losers, man. All you're doing is just making yourself look bad and making the platform look more weak. Be more genuine, and then it can look better. Later.